Welcome to the Isuzu Corporate Triathlon Challenge, powered by Algoa FM. This race briefing is about the event taking place on the 20th of November, and this will give you all the information that you need to know about it. Registration is on Friday from 8 to 1900 hours at the Boardwalk Conference Centre. So take a mask with and take a photo ID, so for your identification purposes, and do your registration. If you are part of a team, all 3 members of the team needs to go to the registration, and the last one to register will receive the registration pack. So you don't have to go together, but it will only be handed out, the registration pack, once everybody have done their registration. There's also something important: if there are minors, athletes, they need to bring an adult and can only bring that adult if that adult is also an athlete in the event, which will accompany them into the venue the next day. The Expo and Ironman merchandise is running at the same times, just below the Boardwalk Conference Centre in Level 1 car park. That's open to both public and athletes. The event is on the Saturday, the 20th of November. And these are the times below from where you can check in. Those are between 6 and 6:55. And then there are 3 groups in the race. The short distance teams, they are group 1. The short distance individuals, they are group 2. And the long distance individuals, they are group 3. So there's specific times where you can go into your holding pen and specific times where you have to start. You have to adhere to those slots. The bike checkout is through the course of the morning from 7:45 to 11:30. That's the rolling bike checkout, but we'll get more into detail on that. Right through the event, there are numerous COVID-19 mitigation measures. Although the COVID-19 regulations have been relaxed, and although the cases are very, very low at the moment, the permission which we have on which we can host this event is based on stringent COVID-19 mitigation, and that includes and impacts on athletes, staffs, and all service providers. So from an athlete point of view, you'll be sent a link by SMS whereby you will do your screening prior to registration. You'll fill that in, and when you get to the front of the queue, we'll read the QR code it generated, and then there'll be a temperature check. If you fail that screening, there will be a nurse available where you can do a rapid antigen test, and only such a test will allow you back into the event. That test is for your own account. If you feel like you've got flu-like symptoms, please don't even come to the venue, and don't come to the event. Please stay away. Right through the event, there's hand sanitizing and mask wearing. All public areas of the events, you'll have to be wearing a mask except when you're racing, and adhere to social distancing. These measures are in place at all the places where there are queues and where people are in numbers. The event has been adapted in numerous ways. No spectators are allowed. The areas which we controlled, the swim start and the transition area and the finish line, we won't allow the members of the public in there. So there are also no hospitality areas at the event. The aid stations have been adapted. They're self-service. The finish line is also pretty much self-service. We'll get back to that. We've also reduced the number of volunteers assisting, and there'll be no touching of athletes. And then also PPE will be worn where appropriate at the aid stations, and which will include sanitizing. It will include the wearing of gloves, and it will be wearing masks, and all these people are also screened, as I stated earlier. Once you've registered, you'll get a registration pack. As I said, the last team member will receive it, or the registration individual will receive it. And in that pack is a race number, and that's a paper number, and it shows the distance of the event that you're doing. That goes onto your chest, or onto, if you are the runner or onto your back if you're the cyclist, or if you're an individual, you can wear it on a race number belt and you can sway it to the front and back depending on which leg you're busy with. Please don't swim with these numbers. And then secondly, you'll get a CTC wristband with your race number on. You must wear that, you must put it on. That is to get you through the accredited area. There's a swim cap. There are a few colors. There are purple, orange, green and red. Then there will also be a stack with athlete number race stickers, and those race stickers you will basically put on your bike or on your on this chainstay, as in the first picture, or the middle picture on the saddle, and then the small square number is for your racing helmet. You'll also receive a racing shirt, or not, from Isuzu Corporate Triathlon Challenge powered by Algoa FM, and that is an athlete gift together with a drawstring bag. What's very important that's also in this pack is the racing number. You'll see there's a 932 on it, and that you wear around your left hand, not your left hand ankle, but your left ankle. That is where you'll wear it, and that's also your relay baton when you are a team. So it goes from the swimmer to the biker to the runner. Once you receive it in those relays, you must immediately put it onto your left ankle. So that is basically your registration pack. You'll also check your medical details. You'll sign the waiver, and any information that is changed, please update that, especially your medical details. So that's very important that you check that information. Then on Saturday morning is bike check-in, and transition will be open from 6:55, from 6 to 6:55. First of all, there's no parking inside the Kings Beach parking area. That's all closed. You won't be able to drive in there. You'll have to park on the streets in Humewood or elsewhere. You may not park on the seaside lane of Beach Road, all the way from Kings Beach right through to Hobie Beach. So no parking in the seaside lane of Beach Road or Marine Drive. This is very important, as that is being closed off for the course, and we don't want any vehicles there. Another important point I'm just going to mention is the medical tent. You'll see it adjacent to the transition area. It's between the transition area and the finish line, where we'll have a medical team. There are also GuardMed ambulances on course, and they are the official paramedic service to the event. Then there's also a concept of dropout. Dropout refers to an athlete that decides to drop out or can't continue with the race. It's very important that if you don't complete the swim and you're on the beach, go to the dropout clock. They'll have a light blue bib, and they will tick off that you have withdrawn from the race. If you withdraw from the race while on the bike or on the run, at transition, you'll see where it says bike out, bike in. There's a little pale blue bib. That is where the bike check, where the dropout clock will be for the remainder of the event. There's also a team relay area, which you can see close to the medical tent, and that is where the cyclist will wait for the swimmer and where the runner will wait for the cyclist. So what's very important is that the only person in a team that will go into transition at all is the cyclist. So bear in mind that. Then secondly, there is a tog bag area in transition where you can leave your bags. And then these black lines that look like railway lines that says group 1, group 2, group 3, those are the transition racks. You can put 3 bikes on a rack per side. So the first and the second line are for group 1. Those are the team people in the short distance triathlon. Then group 2, that's the third and the fourth row. They are for the short distance individuals, and then group 3, that is for the long distance individuals. So as you come down from the road, you'll walk into the bike check-in chute, and from there you'll go to your appropriate rack. So as I said, no more than 3 bikes on a rack per side. The racks at the bottom next to the tog bag area, those are for the Ironman Pros. They are not available for the Corporate Triathlon Challenge. The finish line is down here, designated with the 2 blue lines and the red line across. That's where you'll run through in the finish. And then the final aid station is between there and the bike checkout. So when you check your bike out, you will basically walk up to next to where it says tog bag areas. You'll go in, you'll take your bike out and leave again. It's very important to consider that other athletes will be racing while some of you are busy with your bike check out. So be aware of what's going on around you at all times. So those are basically just an orientation. You'll see here on the mid right, there's a road that comes down past medical where it says from swim exit, and then below that, below the super tube, there's a little road that goes to swim start. So once you've checked your bike in, you'll basically walk down past the finish line onto this road, right past the Kings Beach life-saving building, onto the beach, and you'll veer to the right to go to the swim start. Once you've finished the swim start, you will basically come down this road past the medical. You'll hand over your relay baton or your timing chip to your team biker, who will then go into transition and then make his way or her way out to the bike out area, over the dismount line, and cycle onto the road. When you come back again, it's basically exactly the same way you cycled out. You'll cycle back in, you'll dismount your bike just before the dismount line, and you'll go and rack your bike exactly where you have racked it, and then you'll basically go out and meet your team relay runner outside, hand over the chip, or if you're an individual, you'll just go out and run around the top of transition and onto the run course. So that's just an orientation of what the transition looks like and how it works. The swim course, there are 2 courses. There is the first course is around the 2 yellow buoys, and that's for group 1 and 2, and group 3 you're going to swim around the 2 red buoys. Once you've checked your bike in, you'll have a window period, so between 6:50 up to 7:05, although I recommend that you get there before. You'll go into a chute, and there'll be 3 lanes leading up to the swim start area. Unlike previous year, this year it's a rolling start. So as you go around over the timing mat, that's when your race starts. So there's not a big bang and everybody runs across and start the swim. We will allow 3 athletes over the start line every 5 seconds. In that swim chute, you arrive and you stay in the position you are. You may not decide that you can basically jump the queue. Don't allow people to jump the queue, and don't jump the queue yourself. So your swim start will roll, and it will take approximately 5 minutes to roll the whole short distance team in. If you arrive after that 7:05, you won't be able to start. The short distance we will allow into the swim pen at 7:05 to 7:20, and with your swim start roll at 7:15. Again, it will take approximately just over 5 minutes to roll you all in. The long distance, you will have access from 7:20 to 7:30 into your holding area, and your roll starts at 7:30. So those are the long distance individuals. So as I said, short distance, I go around the 2 yellow buoys, long distance around the 2 red buoys. Please keep on track. If you feel that you need help from the water safety, stop swimming, raise your hand, wave, and they will come to you. There will be lifesavers on Malibu boards on the course, and then there will be jet skis with sledges, and then there will be also some inflatable rubber ducks, and that compromise of the whole water safety team. They have a process. If you need to be taken to the beach, they will take you to a medical pod, which is in between the two legs of the swim course, and there are paramedics that can treat you if there are any issues. If you get dropped off there and you don't need medical attention, there will be a dropout clock where you can actually just engage with them and say, look, I haven't completed the swim, I've been transported out, so I cannot continue the race. And that's important. If you are transported at all at any time, for any reason, you may not continue the race. It's basically over for you. The bike course, again, there's two turnaround points. The short distance bike course is 18 Ks and the long distance 36 Ks. Both courses are out and back on exactly the same road. So as you go out of transition, you'll push your bike over the mount line, and only then may you mount. You're going to go up to Beach Road and turn to the left. We are going to cycle on the right hand side of the bike course, so you're going to stay on the right hand side of the road at all times. And when I mean what I mean with that is the actual bike course, the area that's demarcated as the bike course. So you're going to keep right and pass left, pretty much like continental Europe and in the United States. The short course, it's 9 kilometers out. You'll go around a big traffic cone, which is a turnaround point, and you'll go from left to right across the road, and then you cycle back all the way back to Kings Beach. The people on the long distance, that's 18 Ks out. It's past the Willows Resort at Willows Grove. That's where your turnaround point is, and from there you'll make your way back all the way back to Kings Beach. Again, remember, cycle on the right, and when you get back to Kings Beach, there's the dismount line, and you have to be off your bike before you cross the line, not after you've crossed the line. That is very important. The tri-bikes are allowed on the course, but it's very important that if somebody is leading a bunch, the athlete can be in their tri-bars, but if you're inside a bunch, then you may not be in your tri-bars. So that's very important. And then obviously it is a draft legal event, so you may draft of other athletes, but stay in your lane on the bike course. There's a lane that goes out, which is on the right, and there's a lane that will be coming back in the opposite direction, which will be on your left as you cycle out. So you may not cross that center line. Stay on your lane in the right. Back in transition, the individual athlete will just run out on the run out area, and the team cyclist will run out the same course out of transition, hand over to the team runner, and they'll basically go anti-clockwise around transition onto Beach Road, and then stay flush with Beach Road, pass Humewood, remain on Marine Drive, Beach Road, go past the Blue Water Cafe and the windmill, and just after the windmill you'll take the first left into the Hobie Beach car park. There is an aid station, and at this aid station there's two things that must come through your mind. And the first thing is, am I short course or long? If you're doing the short distance triathlon, you'll basically turn left at the promenade and veer all the way back to the finish line. If you're on the long distance triathlon, you'll turn right, keeping to the right. You'll run on the one section of the promenade, outgoing up to 8th Avenue, close to the road that goes to Something Good. You'll basically turn left and then come back on the seaside promenade path, and you'll approach Hobie. As you approach Hobie, the long distance triathlon will go past the second aid station, and from there they'll follow exactly the same course as the short course athletes. past the MacArthur Baths, where you'll veer onto the pathway, and then around the sculpture of the deck chair, we'll turn right. And as you approach the Kings Beach Lifesaving Club, you'll have a sharp left and then followed by a right, and then you'll go over the finish line. So that is basically the run course in a nutshell. What's very important is at Hobie Beach that the short distance triathletes turn left and the long distance triathletes turn right. So running on the run course is on the right of the pathway and not on the left. So as you make your way back, just be aware there is some public. Although the road is closed, the promenade is not closed, and there may be people walking there. Once you cross the finish line, you will receive a mask, one of the disposable masks, which you must please put on. Then you'll pick up a medal from the table. We're not allowed to hand it to you to minimize touch points. Then you will drop your timing chip into a basket, and you will make your way to the final aid station. Just something important about the medals is there's a medal for the long distance, and then there's a different medal for the short triathlon. The team runner must collect the medal for both the team cyclist and the team swimmer. So if you're a team of 2, you collect 2 medals. If you're a team of 3, you collect 3 medals. So from there you will make your way to the final aid station, where there will be Coca-Cola and water available, and from there you go to your bike checkout. And once you've taken your bike out of transition, you must please leave the area. You may not remain there to spectate and wait for people. Due to the COVID-19 mitigation regulations, there's no awards ceremony. It used to be very festive in the past on the public deck next to the finish line. But this year, due to the COVID-19 mitigation regulations, we'll have to do without it. There's still the same trophies as in the past for those categories, the top 3 teams, and then the top 3 male and female athletes of both race distances. We'll contact you by email to arrange for collection. Timing queries or lost and found, you can reach out to me on that email address or any other correspondence about the event. Please check on your cycling helmet that is all good. Please check on your bike that it's roadworthy and everything is working soundly. And yeah, come well prepared. Read the race guide, download it from our website. It's all there under corporatechallenge.co.za. And the more you know and the better prepared, the greater the event. So thanks for participating in this event, and all of the best.